It begins with a silence unlike any ever heard by the living. The body lies still, its engine extinguished, and time no longer ticks with the same rhythm. For those left behind, grief opens a chasm, but for the soul, something else begins. Not sleep, not oblivion, but motion. It floats, light as thought, deep as memory, carrying with it the imprint of a life once lived. Yet even as the earthly shell grows cold, the soul remains warm with the residue of love, longing, and lessons still to unfold. There are those who say that souls travel aimlessly, caught in a web of time. But the truth, whispered through the folds of mysticism and near-death memories, is far stranger. The soul has direction. It is drawn, magnetically, silently, toward its next incarnation, its next home, its next family. But how does it know? And who calls it? The idea that souls return has echoed for millennia, passed down through ancient wisdom traditions as a secret too large for ordinary speech. In the oldest Upanishads, it is said that after death, the soul enters a liminal realm, a corridor of glowing thresholds, where the residue of past actions, karma, begins to stir. It is not punishment or reward that guides the soul's next destination, but resonance. The soul seeks a life whose frequency matches its needs. A family whose wounds it can heal, or whose history can awaken something dormant within itself. Imagine the universe as a vast lattice of lights, each one a soul, each flickering with its unique hue. The soul, having departed its last vessel, sees this lattice now. It sees stories not yet lived, choices waiting to be made, parents not yet parents, but ready. The unborn call without words. The soul listens without ears. And in that immense silence, a bond forms, a pre-memory, like a chord struck in reverse. This selection is not random. It is not cold fate. It is intimacy deeper than blood, older than time. Some souls return to those they've known before. They circle the same constellations of relationships, shifting roles like actors in an eternal play. The mother becomes the child. The friend becomes the teacher. The enemy, perhaps, becomes the brother. These transformations are not cruel tricks but opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to balance, to remember. There is a school of mystic thought which holds that before entering its next life, the soul is shown glimpses of what is to come. Not as punishment, but as consent. It sees a woman walking beneath stars, unaware she will carry a child within the year. It sees the shape of its new father's hands. It hears laughter in a language it has not yet learned. The soul is offered a choice, not of comfort, but of purpose. Sometimes the match is instantaneous, the pull irresistible. At other times, the soul lingers in the space between, what some call the astral, or the waiting place. It drifts among trees that do not die, hears music made of thought. It meets others, not yet reborn, or newly returned. They share fragments of their former lives, wisdoms exchanged without words. But always, the soul feels the thread, the subtle tug toward the place where its next story must begin, and when the moment comes, when the mother breathes deeply in the dark, and the heart inside her begins to pulse, the soul descends. Not through space, but through vibration. It passes through layers of forgetting. It begins to fold inward, pressing its infinity into a form smaller than a grain of rice. It is not trapped. It is choosing. Choosing again. Some infants arrive with wide, ancient eyes. Others cry as though remembering something lost. Some parents feel an instant connection, a familiarity they cannot explain. "I've known you before," they whisper, rocking a newborn who has not yet spoken. And perhaps they have. In certain rare cases, children recall details of previous lives, names, places, deaths. Some describe how they chose their parents from above, watching their wedding or their grief. These stories have baffled psychologists and fascinated spiritual researchers. But to those who walk the edges of life and death, they make perfect sense. The soul remembers longer than the brain does, but what of families that are broken? What of those born into pain or hardship? Here, the mystery deepens. For it is often in difficulty that the soul grows most rapidly. The child born into silence may have come to awaken a family. The daughter in the violent household may have come to break a cycle that has echoed for generations. The soul does not seek ease, it seeks truth. And truth is rarely soft. There are whispers in some traditions that souls also incarnate in clusters. Soul families, they are called. A group of spirits bound not by biology but by energy, scattered through time and space like dandelion seeds. They find each other in unexpected places, on trains, in dreams, in the eyes of strangers. A glance, and something flares, a recognition older than flesh. In every part of the world, the belief persists, the soul is not lost. It is not alone. It is a traveler, intelligent and guided, moving toward the next chapter. Even now, somewhere in the folds of the world, a soul is descending. It floats above rooftops, passing over cities and forests, listening. Beneath it, a woman stirs in her sleep. She dreams of waves, or wind, or eyes that seem to see through her. She does not know it yet, but the soul has chosen. A heartbeat begins, and a journey is set in motion. Perhaps, in the end, each of us came from such a choosing. We are not accidents of blood and biology, but summoned guests in the great theater of existence. Called, remembered, and found, and when our time comes to leave again, when breath slips quietly into stillness, we will feel that same gentle pull, that same invisible thread, guiding us home to the next waiting heart.